Okay, hey queens, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. Alright, I'm a sweaty mess because I just finished filming for OnlyFans. This was my first official filming and photo shoot day since the surgery. But hey queens, hey bitches, hey baddies, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. So if you're not already, please make sure you're subscribed and please drop a comment down below about any questions or any video topics that you may have or that you may want me to film in regards to my tummy tuck and my Brazilian butt lift surgery. So I'm gonna try to just make this video quick. Honestly, I'm tired. I did a lot more than I've been doing most days. So okay, so basically in today's video I wanted to talk about my tummy tuck scar, my incision. It got infected. So far I've had 2 major tummy tuck complications, actually 3. I got a seroma a few days after the surgery. There was literally a big boil of liquid right above my incision, and I got that before I even left Florida. So it was literally about 2 or 3 days post-op. That was my first major complication, and it was honestly super simple and it kind of resolved itself. Then 3 weeks post-op, my belly button had started to ooze. Literally it was leaking. Every time I would take the faja off, my belly button was just oozing. It was all over my foams, all over my ab board. It was just ugly. It was red, it was inflamed, it was oozing, leaking brown drainage, and it would have white pus around it. So it was definitely infected. Now I think when you do a surgery, a plastic surgery as complicated as a tummy tuck or even a Brazilian butt lift, it's so important to have amazing communication with your post-op team. Not necessarily directly with the doctor, but there should be someone in your post-op team that you can reach out to anytime, day or night. So I am able to text with my post-op coordinator. Her name is Nati. She is amazing. Every time I reach out to her, she responds immediately. So I was sending her pictures of my belly button and she would tell me what to do. So for my belly button, she told me just to keep it dry. Don't clean it with peroxide. When you're taking a shower, clean it with regular soap and water. Make sure that it's dry, whether you use a cotton ball or a Q-tip. Just make sure it's dry, and then cover it with a gauze and just keep it dry before you put on your faja or your ab boards or anything like that. So every week, twice a week, I can also put Neosporin, but it wasn't something I can put every day. And the peroxide, I think they don't like you using peroxide because peroxide sometimes slows the healing process. Yes, it kills infections, but it also slows the healing time. So I couldn't clean it with peroxide. So my belly button, again, I noticed that around 3 weeks post-op. It was a little bit ugly, and then by 5 weeks post-op is when the drainage kind of stopped. And even though it's still red and swollen a little bit, it's not draining at all. It's not building up a lot of pus. It's just literally healing. Then at 5 weeks post-op is when my incision became infected. Now, confession, I went to the gym before I had official clearance to go to the gym. At 5 weeks post-op, I started to feel a little bit better. At 5 weeks post-op, I started to feel better. I had some energy. I felt good. And I really, really wanted to get to the gym. And Nat T was on vacation, I believe. So when I was reaching out to her to see if I had medical clearance, she didn't answer me in time. That was the only time she didn't answer me. So I just decided to take it upon myself and go to the gym without official clearance. So I went to the gym. I wore a Spanx body shapewear, and then I put my waist trainer over it, and all I did was the treadmill on an incline, but I went to an incline of 10.0, and then I decided to get a little bit fancy on the incline, and I was squatting as I was going up the incline. That's the only workout I did in the gym, and I did that for 25 minutes, okay? The next day, that night, out of nowhere, I felt like my incision was on fire. It was hurting so bad. Walking was painful. Sitting down to use the bathroom was painful. Getting in and out of my BBL canoe was painful. Like, I never felt my skin being on fire like that ever before. And it wasn't the entire incision. Like, the entire incision hurt, but the burning like was concentrated on my right side of the incision. And throughout the day, I felt like it was a little bit more like sensitive than normal, but I didn't think much of it. And I was still laying on my stomach at that point, still didn't think much of it. And then that night around like 10 p.m., like out of nowhere, the burning just became like unbearable. And my incision became so inflamed, so red, and it just hurt. It literally hurt to do any type of movements. So I was freaking out, and it hurt so bad. And for some reason, I texted my massage therapist and I showed him a picture of it, because up until then he's been seeing the scar and he's been like cleaning it and like just like making sure it was good. So I showed him a picture right away, and he's like, oh my god, it's infected. It is infected. So he told me to put ice on it. So I like put ice in like paper towel, and I kept like putting like a cold compress on it. And the burning was just unbearable. Like, I could not walk, I couldn't sit, I couldn't do anything. So at 3 in the morning, I finally called my post-op team and I sent them pictures and videos of what it was looking like, and she was like, yes, it is infected. So immediately, by the time the pharmacy opened, my antibiotics were already in the pharmacy, ready to be filled. And I think that's what helped me so much, because I tackled the problem right away. I think it was the exercise that contributed to it. I think it was maybe what I was wearing. Maybe it was the sweat. Maybe it was the friction from going on an incline in a squat position. I don't know what it was, but it was bad. And this happened about 5 weeks post-op. I already thought that my incision was kind of healing and closed up, but at that point it became so red and inflamed. And in the days that followed, it was still really red. The burning had completely stopped by that morning. I did take a tramadol the night that the burning had started. Morning of, I picked up my antibiotics. After that, I didn't feel that crazy burning anymore, but it was still like very, very sensitive around there, and it was still very red, but it had started to look better with every day that passed. But then it started to drain and it started to bleed. Like, one day I was walking around naked because my post-op lady told me not to wear compression for 3 days. So I stopped wearing the faja, and I think I came out the bathroom and my daughter was like, oh my god, mommy, what is that? Like, and I was bleeding from my incision. So again, I sent pictures and videos right away, and they were like, it's fine, just put on a pad, like put the faja on and put on a pad to protect the blood and to kind of maintain it. So they told me it was semi-hematic, serohematic. I'll put a name of what it is. It's a certain type of fluid that comes out of your body when you have an infection. So it's not necessarily blood, and it wasn't pus either, but it was actually a good thing, because my incision and the swelling and the like inflamed portion of the scar was kind of draining itself. So I felt like it was good, because anytime like there's an exit for an infection to like just kind of drain and leave your body, I feel like it was better, because within like a day or two after that, it had started to get flatter and smoother and like scab a little bit. Now the infection is still clear. The infection is clearing now, and this has been about, I would say like about 6 days, probably about 7. So I've been taking antibiotics 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night, and I have to do that for 10 days, and I'm almost done with them. So by now the incision looks really, really good, but every now and then it is still draining a little bit of fluid, but it's getting less and less, and it's becoming more clearer and not as thick, and definitely nothing like what it looked like at first, which would look like a blood clot. So I'm very happy with now how it's looking. I will be showing you guys pictures and videos and clips and all that, so that you guys can see what I was dealing with. But that was like extremely scary, because I really thought that I was completely healed, and then out of nowhere, boom, that happened, and it just scared the shit out of me. And that pain with the incision was no joke. And I've been posting on my Instagram story, and another girl was telling me that she had the same thing happen to me, and she was showing me pictures of her. And when that incision is is infected, it looks angry, it looks red, it looks pissed off, and it is burning like fucking crazy. So I thought it was gonna start to reopen. I started Googling. I was so paranoid because it says that like if the incision gets so bad, they might have to drain it or they might have to reopen it, which means that your scar will become even uglier. And I was just getting so freaking worked up. But luckily, I think the antibiotics helped enough. So my biggest advice is that if you notice any complications, make sure that you're reaching out to your post-op team immediately, because I think that's what helped me so much, was that night I noticed it, that very next morning my prescription was already at the pharmacy. Now I was already mentally prepared to go to urgent care and see a doctor there, but they're not plastic surgeons and they didn't do your surgery and they don't know about what was done. So having a post-op team that you can go to that will immediately send prescriptions that they know you need to a pharmacy rather than going to urgent care, it just saves you so much time, hassle, and headache. And I'm just so grateful for my post-op team. So yeah, my seroma was my first complication. It dissolved on its own. I didn't have to pop it. It absorbed back into my body on its own. My belly button healed again on its own. Like, as long as you keep your incision or your belly button dry, you follow your post-op instructions, you don't overuse Neosporin, you don't use peroxide, you use regular soap and water. If you can use the Hibiclen soap because it's an antibacterial. But for both complications, my belly button and my incision, I noticed there was a theme, and it's keeping it dry. If it's draining, put a pad or a gauze on top of it just to kind of keep everything contained. But Neosporin twice a week, don't overdo that, and no use of peroxide, and things will get better on its own. But like I said, it's important to have your post-op care team like immediately at your fingertips so that you can get the instructions from them, because when you have these major procedures done and you notice complications go wrong, you will panic and you won't know what the fuck to do, and Google will scare the shit out of you. So just that's my biggest advice. All right, I feel like I just was all over the place with this video, so I'm just gonna shut the fuck up and bye. See you in the next video.